Good morning, team. Happy Monday again. Mr. McCarthy here with the second video in our latest leadership insight all around the subject of unconscious bias. So last week I kind of introduced the subject to you and really didn't cover much detail. I hope you enjoyed that video. This week I want to talk about a few more examples just to make sure we really understand what it is that we're covering here. And go into discussion around the impact of discrimination and the benefits of diversity. So you remember I'd mentioned one of the world's leading authorities on the subject is University of California in San Francisco. A couple of other pieces of research that they publish. Science faculty at UCSF rated male applicants for a laboratory manager position as significantly more competent and hireable than female applicants. And the faculty also selected a higher starting salary and offered more career mentoring to their male applicants. And that's the faculty of the university where a lot of this work is done. And among those men and women that were working there, the mean salary for the female researchers was found to be about $31,000 less than males. Why? Another piece of research that they did, implicit bias amongst healthcare professionals, so doctors, nurses, therapists, and so on, can influence their behaviors and judgments. And since 1997, there's been more than 30 exhaustive studies on this subject that have been published relevant to unconscious bias and clinical decision making, by doctors. And it was proven that racial bias is very prevalent among healthcare providers, and it appears that race influences medical decision making of many doctors. So those are the kinds of subjects that we're going to try to cover here, right? So super important. So let's talk about the impact of discrimination a little bit more. While we may genuinely not be aware of our prejudices, and prefer not to admit them if we are aware of them, they can have very damaging consequences on both the way we manage and the people that we manage. And again, studies have shown that perceived discrimination, so that's how people feel when they're being discriminated against, can affect various elements of their performance, commitment, job satisfaction, cause work tensions, all sorts of things, as you I'm sure you would imagine. And one of the things that has always been very important for me is recognizing what I call micro inequities. It doesn't have to be, that the Joe gets the job and Jorge doesn't, right? It could be small things. You asked for Joe's opinion, but you didn't ask for Jorge's opinion. That's a micro inequity. And when they build up, in particular, they can affect the entire team, the entire culture. It's very, very important. So another example is, you can be influenced by unconscious bias when you conduct performance reviews of people, right? When you're giving them feedback. If your people suspect that this is the case, or if you're kind of suffering from some of that, it can lead to mistrust, can lower morale, increase likelihood of people leaving and going off somewhere else. It's not only the people that maybe are negatively impacted by that bias in a performance review, it's the people you may even be giving good performance feedback to, because they know they can see what you can't see sometimes, right? Which is that bias, and they also lose that trust and so on. If a team member does feel that you have discriminated against him or her, even unknowingly, remember this is unconscious bias, We're not talking about, obvious discrimination, intentional discrimination. It could impact you in a whole number of ways, right? You could be, you can have all sorts of ramifications. So really make sure that you understand the discrimination, thinking and process that you have, and you have to be super honest with yourself. And that's often the most challenging part of this, because we're talking about unconscious bias. And then I just want to wrap up, maybe obvious, but the benefits of diversity. Diversity refers, of course, to the variety of different characteristics and aspects of people, right? Obviously, race and gender and age and sexuality, but many other things as well. Educational standards, social class, where we come from in the world, urban communication, those sorts of things. Organizations that have really embraced diversity in their workforce and create systems that really support that, clearly show the benefits of diversity in that kind of way. Increased adaptability, a team of people with different backgrounds, educational experience sets and so on, can provide a far greater variety of perspectives and solutions to problems. Researchers found that groups from diverse problem solvers can easily outperform groups that are highly capable but all from the same kind of background. Better customer service and connection, right? Diverse people bring a greater range of skills and abilities, along with empathy for different cultures. So it's enormously important. That really kind of reflect the global nature of the world we live in today. Greater innovation, right? Again, it's been shown that organizations with a really diverse leadership definitely outperform from an innovation perspective. A Forbes study actually has identified workforce diversity and inclusion as the key driver of internal innovation and business growth. Recruitment, retention, welcoming candidates, regardless of race or age or background, means you have a larger pool of people from which you can make great decisions about when it comes to hiring, right? Enormously important. Embracing diversity, and you have to do it with such genuine intent, can really improve existing staff members' loyalty to the organization and all of those kinds of things. So again, share if you have any other sort of ideas and examples, but really, really important things, I think. So that's it for today. Next week, we're going to talk about how we recognize our own unconscious biases. I've got some really cool tests and materials I'm going to share with you, and assessments and so on. And I think you'll find it really, really interesting. So hopefully you found this interesting. If you did, give it a like, share with anybody, subscribe if you haven't. And as always, any questions, let me know. Okay? Thanks, and bye for now.